Award after Bill wins world-famous Yorkie rescue. After nominations came in, it quickly became clear that each story was very special and very touching. Each rescue is a great rescue, just as Smoky was. She started a movement. Smoky was a 4-pound Yorkie who was found in the abandoned jungle foxhole in New Guinea in early 1944 by a soldier whose jeep had stalled in the jungle. The next day, the Yorkie was sold for £2 Australian, about $6.44, to 20-year-old Private First Class Bill Wynn. Bill and Smoky flew combat missions and went through many air raids together. She lived on the rugged Army tropical food, including at times the C and K rations, while they served 18 months straight in combat. They traveled 40,000 miles together, and when Bill came home, so did Smoky. This year, we have 16 nominations. Some are senior citizens, many have health issues requiring ongoing care, some were strays, and some came from families that could not or would not take care of them any longer. Here are the nominees. We have Queenie. Queenie was a little girl that was rescued from the East LA shelter with horrible mange. She would have been put to sleep if YTNR had not stepped in to save her. She now lives a life of luxury with her forever mom, and even accompanies her mom to the same beauty salon that the Kardashians use. Wow. That's the truth. And she rides in a Jaguar as well.
Yes, I want to be adopted.
I want to be adopted by them.
Candy Kane was found in an LA shelter and was in very bad shape. She had focal seizures, and in fact, she even chewed her own tail off. Oh. She has been adopted, and she lives with other little dogs in a forever home and is doing very well. She still has the seizures, but they're under control. Max was surrendered to YTNR due to issues that were the result of his living condition. He has been adopted by Paula, and is now a very happy little guy. Fawn was found as a stray in LA and was thought to be the result of overbreeding, as she was ill with infection. Fawn is now in her happy forever home and living on the beautiful East Coast. In fact, Fawn is with us tonight, right over there. Tegan was in a Chicago City pound when YTNR rescued him. His foster mom donated the surgeries for his leg Perthes disease in both legs. Did I pronounce that right, Perthes? Yep. Yeah. He is doing beautifully and healthy and was adopted by his foster mom. Caroline and Neff. Both of these gorgeous Yorkies are seniors and were rescued by YTNR from the Orange County shelter in California. We had a lot of dogs from California this year. Yep. They were supposedly found as strays. Both had serious medical problems. Caroline with a bad hind leg for which she has had surgery for one leg already. The other one's coming up on October 22nd. And Neff is a senior that had a horribly infected mouth. They are now both adopted and living in Oregon, very happy with Hannah Lee. Peaches. Peach's story is a heartbreaker. She was rescued by YTNR from a high-kill shelter in Chicago. She had many medical problems which caused 3 surgeries to her mouth. She has been adopted by Jackie Wolf and is doing very well and is very loved. Jackie is the state director for
Illinois.
Illinois, okay. Bentley was in foster care for over 2.5 years. He came into YTNR with a badly mangled leg. He is adopted and happy and living in Northern California, and Paula's dad adopted Bentley. Jinjin. Jinjin is a special needs girl. She has a condition that makes her unable to walk and has had numerous surgeries. She was lovingly fostered by Corinne for quite a while and is now with her forever home with her forever mommy Tina. Some of you might have met her last year when she was here in Nashville, and I believe she's here tonight. Lily was surrendered to YTNR at 8 months old due to severe breathing problems. She is now with lots of loving care, doing well in her forever home. Aiden Wade, I think you know who that is, right? Aiden Wade? You had Aiden,
yes.
Yeah. Aiden Wade was an owner surrender at 5 months old, and he doesn't know why he was surrendered. Thank you to Corinne, his foster mommy, for finding his forever home he shares with 2 Beagle brothers. Claire was surrendered and found her forever home thanks to Corinne and Mary Elizabeth. Jimmy was attacked by a large dog at 17 months old and needed extensive surgery. Mary Elizabeth asked me to foster him when he was discharged from the hospital, which I did. And I failed fostering 101, and I adopted him. Sonny Sneed. This little guy was surrendered to YTNR at 9.5 years old due to defiant issues, so he said. However, it was found that he had a very painful mouth due to neglect, and he was in a very poor condition. He was adopted by his foster mom, who just fell in love, so she also failed fostering 101. And finally, Vito. Vito was found as a stray in Oxnard, California, with a broken jaw in half and a huge abscess on the top of his head. The shelter notified YTNR, and of course we took him under our wing. After 2 surgeries, he is now a perfect little boy in a loving home. So, it's in Smoky's honor that we now honor our YTNR rescues. You ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, can I have the envelope? Yeah, it has to be. I hope I wrote them down. I'll try to make it official. Okay. The second runner-up is
I'm waiting for you.
Jimmy, mine. So I'm going to recuse myself, and I'm going to let her, Julie, read mine, because I can't read it.
Read this.
This is Jimmy. Give that to her.
Oh.
On behalf of Jimmy, we thank you.
Okay, so here's Jimmy's story as told by Jimmy. Mom asked me if I could try to remember back and tell my story. I'll try real hard, but sometimes it's kind of fuzzy. I was born on December 5th, 2011, and was adopted into a large family with many children. July 11th, 2013 was a really warm day, and I thought someone would want to go outside and play with me. But even though there were 7 kids in that family, no one was paying any attention to me, so I decided to go explore all by myself. I saw a hole in the fence, and on the other side, hey, someone big and yellow that might want to play. Well, I don't remember much after that. I must have yelled because the mom ran out and got me, and I was in the car speeding away to the hospital. They kept telling her not to panic and calm down because they were going to save my life. Save my life? I was only 17 months old, but boy, I hurt. I kept hearing her say, no, no, we can't afford that, oh no. I can't bear to look. Yes, yes, I'll sign him over. Then it felt like I was going to sleep. I wanted to, because there was so much pain. Ouch. What happened then, Mom? Mommy Patty said Dr. Diana Jones worked so hard for 3 hours to put me back together. I had bite marks all over me. My skin was ripped and my spleen and liver were punctured. Wow. No wonder I slept for 6 days. I couldn't eat or drink. I had a high temperature for 2 days. Thank you, doctors, for the medicine that made my pain go away. It made me sleep enough that I didn't care. Finally, I was given a little bit of baby food and water and a needle thing. Once again, I didn't care. I don't understand. Nobody I ever knew came back to see me. What? Oh, Mom said that the doctor called a rescue, and then they rescued me. It's called a YTNR. 2 of the YTNRs came for me when I felt better and took me on a long drive to from San Diego to Huntington Beach. Hey, they took me to Mom's house. She was supposed to make me better and then give me to someone else. Guess what? She said it took her 2 minutes to know that she couldn't let anyone else have me. Boy, am I glad. I know I'm safe in my home with Mom Patty and my dad Richard. I only have to put up with my bratty little sister. I think you know her as Eleanor. Well, you know how girls are. Just because she was here first, she thinks she owns the place and is so bossy. I can have fun teasing her, and I know she loves me anyway. I know my mom saved my life. With all the care I needed those first weeks. But she told me that YTNR saved my life by telling Dr. Jones, yes, we will take him into rescue. Do what you have to do to save his life. We'll make sure that he gets a forever home and is cared for and loved forever. In closing, I want to give a big shout out and say if it weren't for Mary Elizabeth and Corinne, there would be no YTNR. Would someone please tell me what YTNR means? And I would not be here today. So thank you to Mary Elizabeth and Corinne for saving me so I could have the wonderful life I have today. And thank you to Dr. Diana Jones for being such a great doctor and putting me back together again. All my love, Jimmy. That was so good. That was really good. Yeah.
Now you see why I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I do. Yep, that's a good one.
Okay, let's go. The second runner-up is Sunny Sneed.
Yay.
Amanda Sneed owns Sunny. In 2012, I adopted my first dog from the organization and fell head over heels in love. In time, I wanted to give back and provide a safe, comfortable, and loving home for a foster dog that was, while his forever home was being prepared. I had doubts about it and how I would be able to do it without getting attached, but I remained firm that as long as I knew the dog would be going to a great forever home, that my purpose would be served. In February, I got the call. There was a dog, Honey, that was coming in as an owner surrender. He was reported as being 9.5 years old with some dental issues and is defiant, weighing 4 pounds. Defiant. I considered the information on how he would fit in with me and Chip and felt that this was the right foster dog for us. So I got prepared and I met with the director, Jackie, at her office so that I could be there when he was dropped off and taken for his initial medical exam. I was nervous but excited. The feeling turned to sadness as me and Jackie witnessed the condition of poor Honey. Honey was a male dog with all bright pink clothing and belongings and was a very sad sight. I was told that he was one of, if not the most emaciated dogs they ever received. To touch this little guy, I felt like I would break his body. That was a skeleton. The smell of infection from his teeth was something I had never smelled. We took him to the veterinarian and everyone discussed how a family could be so neglectful of this sweet dog. We were told repeatedly that Honey was a very defiant dog and was not a good fit in their home anymore with their children and golden lab. It was determined that the majority of Honey's teeth would need to be removed, but we had another issue that was of more concern, his kidneys. They were concerning numbers on the labs and he would need a follow-up with labs to determine his full health condition. We proceeded to take Honey to the first adoption event in which he snuggled up on my chest with his head on my shoulder and just needed love. Jackie said to me, "You're going to fall in love with him." I brought Honey home, in which we soon renamed him Sunny to clear up any confusion of his gender. Initially, he was urinating frequently inside and was so hungry and thirsty. Chip, who likes to be right by my side and has a jealous nature, had a completely subtle approach with Sunny. It was amazing, as if he knew that Sunny was sick, and we all needed to be gentle with him. Sunny showed so much character from the beginning. Like when you pet his back, he does a little wiggle with his back legs that looks as if he's doing some type of dance move. Sunny does not run around, but rather prances, looking very funny. He became adapted to the routine and is always ready for love. He is excited to be petted, to be held, and whenever coming home from work, he dances around in circles, showing his excitement. He is friendly with all people and all other dogs. He continues to startle easily, though, if you reach your hands out to him as if he's protecting himself. But really, Sunny is nothing but love and calmness. Sunny's labs came back, and to the disappointment of everyone, he has been diagnosed with kidney disease. Learning about this for the first time in the veterinarian's office was heartbreaking, and a very critical decision had to be made about how to proceed forward. Sunny would not be a likely candidate for adoption due to his age and medical condition. I was overwhelmed and confused being my first-time foster and what this meant to the future of Sonny. I was not able to financially take on expensive medical care for a dog, but I did not want to see this poor innocent dog be put down because he wasn't going to be deemed as adoptable. Thankfully, the director chose that Sonny should have a chance and that we would move forward with listing him as a special needs dog, and that there are people that like older dogs. Sonny had follow-up labs, and at this point, things are stable, and the veterinarian feels that Sonny is able to live a good 3 to 4 years. He is prescribed a special diet, canned food. He is slowing filling in, and eats very well. The majority of his teeth have been removed. Sonny was displayed at a second adoption event, and this event is when something began to shift within myself. The emotion that came at the thought of him being adopted that very day was very sad. I contemplated with myself about his medical needs and what was in his best interest. Jackie was right. I fell in love with Sonny. His home is here with me and Chip. Although I wasn't prepared to take a special needs dog that is senior and has medical issues, and the thought of only having him around for a short period of time and saying goodbye is very saddening. I know that at the end of the day I can give him love and warmth for the final years of his life. I will have served why Sonny chose me. I guess she failed too. Okay, this is it. This little dog is really went through a lot, so, and he's a California dog. Ready?
I'm ready.
The Yorkie Rescue of the Year is Vito Tortorsi. In November 2013, a 2-year-old male Yorkshire Terrier was found wandering the streets of Ventura, California, filthy, painfully injured, and frightened. There was abscesses from puncture wounds in his head, and his jawbone was broken so severely that the bone actually moved back and forth at the break. It was clear that a bigger dog had attacked him, biting into his head and crushing his jaw. His neck was also extremely tender, a sign that he had been shaken. The YTNR quickly rescued him from the shelter, named him Sterling, and made sure he got the medical care he needed. This included surgery to insert pins in his mandible to immobilize it while it healed, and numerous antibiotics to clear the infection. Sterling remained at the vet for a couple of weeks for close observation while his jaw healed, and all the while wearing an embarrassing cone to his head. Inevitably, his endearing personality won the hearts of the veterinary staff. While still wearing his cone, Sterling's foster mom, Marge Williams, was able to bring him home in early December. Under her loving care and the distraction of his New Yorkie friends Scooter and Queenie, because Marge also had fostered Queenie, Sterling continued to heal and thrive. Happy to play by himself at times, he would throw his toy in the air, catch it in the cone, and then toss it up in the air again. After 2 months, the mandible had fused, so the pins were finally removed from his jawbone, and the annoying cone came off. Now Sterling was ready for his forever home. As for us, we were still mourning the death of our 15-year-old Yorkie Bella. She passed away in December, and our hearts were broken. In March, when we decided to get another puppy, my husband Don scoured the internet for days looking for the perfect match, until he came upon a cutie named Sterling who had experienced a rough time. Having the big heart that he does, Don submitted the YTNR application and waited. We were thrilled when we found out that we were being considered as Sterling's new parents, and were excited when we went to meet him for the first time at Marge's house. We drove an hour to her home, our bellies filled with butterflies and our hearts with high hopes that not only would Sterling like us, but that Marge and YTNR representative Patty Kushner would also approve. When we finally met him, he was all ecstatic, wiggles, and curious sniffing. He jumped into our laps, gave us kisses, then ran a couple of laps before coming back for more. We were in love. As my husband said then, it was as if we were concerned he was ours. As my husband said then, as far as we were concerned, he was ours. When we said our goodbyes that day, Sterling stood in the window and watched us go. His ears perked up and his head tilted as if wondering, where were we going without him? Next came the home visit. On Sunday, April 6th, Marge and Patty came with Sterling to see how he'd react to our home and our 2 cats, Inga and Trixie. They inspected our yard for escape routes or dangerous pitfalls, but found none. Sterling loved our backyard. He darted about, rolled in the grass, and again jumped into our laps to give kisses. The cats were apprehensive, but merely backed off, hissed a little, and then hid where they could watch him curiously. There was hope. To our great relief and joy, these fine ladies decided we were a good match and would make a good home for Sterling. We then told him that his name would not be Sterling, but Vito, to go with his new Italian last name. And it really fits this dog, Vito. Yes. Vito immediately made himself the master of the house, letting the cats know who he was boss. He and Inga became friends within days, but fat cat Trixie stayed at a safe, observant distance for the next 2 months. Now she tolerates his rambunctious attempts at friendship and lazily swats at him as he circles her wildly, trying to entice her to play, maybe someday. Even though he was obviously attacked by a bigger dog, his head and jaw crushed, he's still got a mischievous boldness to him, and he isn't even afraid to go up to the biggest dogs wanting to play.
Yeah.
Early on, we realized that Vito had been trained by someone, potty trained, housebroken. He knows when he's done something bad and lowers his head, looking very remorseful. It's difficult to chastise him when he's so darn cute. He's clever, willful, engaging, playful, loving, and smarter than we are. He has a very expressive little face that can melt your heart and a stubborn streak that can rival any human 2-year-old. One of his favorite things is to jump into a lap, relax on his back, and melt into a pair of hands for a nice neck massage. This little fellow has brought us much happiness. His exuberance is contagious, and his antics makes us laugh. He loves fetching squeaky toys, but is just as happy playing alone, tossing a piece of bark over the air over and over again. Vito is the sweetest, most loving little dog in the world, and we feel so blessed to have him in our family. His fun-loving spirit, his ability to trust so completely, and his zest for going forward in life without fear, despite what he has been through, are inspiring. Now little Vito is safe and loved unconditionally. I brought all the stories. If anybody cares to look through any of them and see any of these stories, I have them right here.
Well, I want to say something about Claire.
I'm sorry?
I want to say something about Claire.
Okay.
She doesn't have a hard luck story. She has a good luck story.
Well, it's all right here. Anybody wants to read it?
Good.
Thank you. On to next year and the new nominees.
Thank you for all your thank you, Patty. That's a lot of work. Thanks a lot.
Good, huh?
Yeah, I got it. Right behind you. We're doing a great job, Patty.
Well, you-
There were a few glitches, but I think the two
So they're right behind you.
Julie, thank you very much.